الأخبار.
Hello and welcome to ABC News. I'm Meredith Sheehan. The Ukrainian government says its forces have regained control of the entire Kyiv region 5 weeks after Russia launched its invasion. The Defence Ministry says towns near the capital, including Irpin and Hostomel, have been liberated. Despite the development, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has warned the invasion of his country is far from over. Meanwhile, mounting evidence of war crimes is emerging as Russian forces retreat from the capital. Authorities in the town of Bucha, just outside Kyiv, have found the bodies of at least 20 civilians on the street. Reports suggest Russian forces rounded up all men of military age and executed them. A warning to viewers, the following report contains distressing images.
As the Russian rearguard pulled back from Kyiv, Ukrainian troops yet again were waiting. It looks as if they attacked out of the tree line. Nimble Ukrainian tactics and modern NATO weapons are making tanks look obsolete. At least one charred body of a Russian soldier was inside the wreckage of his vehicle.
Best Russian troops tried to do this, and they were just defeated and ran away. So that is a sign that we can win the war.
The road into Bucha was littered with war debris. Ukraine has saved its capital, but Russia is much better positioned in the east and south. Winning for either side is a long way off. Russia's defeat around Kyiv may have started on this suburban street in the last few days of February, just after the invasion. A long column of Russian armor was destroyed as it pushed forward towards the capital. These were elite airborne troops, mostly in armored vehicles light enough to be carried by aircraft. Once again, anti-tank weapons and attack drones made them no protection at all. This is the graveyard, one of the many graveyards of Russian hopes for capturing Kyiv. It was early in the war and they were advancing. Then the ambush happened. Panic must have ensued. Look how this armored vehicle has ended up ramming that one. They had no idea what the Ukrainians had in store for them. Young conscripts ran away, begging, local people said, not to be turned over to Ukrainian territorial defense. A neighbor who called himself Uncle Hrisha said, I felt sorry for them. They were so young, 18 to 20, with their whole lives ahead of them. It looks as if the Russians, as they prepared to pull out of Bucha, had no such pity. At least 20 dead men, some with their wrists tied, were lying in the street as Ukrainian troops entered the town. The mayor said they buried 280 people in mass graves. How's everything? A few civilians who'd stayed said they tried to avoid the Russians, cooking outdoors because their gas, power and water were cut. This is the first bread we've had in 38 days, said Maria. The Russians systematically broke down doors to loot flats, they said. While they stole valuables and food, the soldiers made them sit in the cellar. A few miles away, the trail of devastation leads to Hostomel Airport. It was fought over from the first day of the invasion, when Russian airborne troops landed to use it as a base for a push into Kyiv. The world's largest transport plane was destroyed early on. An enormous amount of national pride was wrapped up in this huge aircraft. It was a symbol of achievement, of Ukraine's place in the modern world. And that's a symbol of what's happened to the country. The Russians insist they never wanted to capture Kyiv. The evidence is that they were stopped by more effective, determined Ukrainian troops. Leaving the battlefields around Kyiv, simplifies Russia's new objective, a spring campaign in the east. Another attempt to break Ukraine's will to fight.
Officials in the southern Ukrainian port of Odessa say it come under attack from missiles. A series of explosions were heard and smoke seen rising in the city in the early hours of the morning. Unconfirmed reports say the targets were fuel storage terminals. Odessa is the last major port under Ukrainian control. Hundreds of residents of Mariupol have managed to escape the city, arriving at reception centres hundreds of kilometres from the north.
الروس فشلوا في مهمتهم، فشلوا تماما، والمقاومة الأوكرانية قوية وتتصاعد باستمرار. الروس خسروا المعارك، الروس في ورطة، الروس غرزوا بطنجوا في أوكرانيا. كلما تقدم الزمن كلما وقع الشعب الروسي في ضيق، في قساوة في الحياة بالمعيشة. أمريكا والغرب والآخرين حاصروا الروس اقتصاديا. بوتين ندم ولكن لن يعترف.